Jim Forman coming with you on the stream. It's going to be a little bit hectic here as we're in the middle of coordinating our breaking news coverage of a very serious crash on the Aurora Avenue Bridge just north of downtown Seattle involving one of the Ride the Ducks and a charter bus. You can see Sky King is on the way there. We should have our first picture shortly. You can see he's north of downtown, the camera coming into position. We have reports there are multiple patients. We have several crews on the way. This is right in the middle of the Aurora Avenue Bridge. Apparently it was a head-on crash from both directions, and there are a number of patients. The Seattle Fire Department has called this a mass casualty incident. In fact, they're calling for as many ambulances and medic units that they can get, including bringing them from out of the city. Now you're seeing we're just getting on the scene there. It looks as though that there are patients from both the duck bus, the duck boat, and the tour bus. Again, we're just establishing our shot now, so it may move around a little as we get into position. You can see firefighters there are starting to treat people on the bus. It looks like the side of that tour bus, the passenger side, the left side, was actually banged into. So this may have been some kind of crash that involved more of a broadside. A lot of firefighters on this scene. We see you, Sky King, and you are streaming. Thank you.
Dylan is going to the north end so he can be with the PA.
So here we can tell you that as far as we know that Seattle Fire and Police both stating the obvious, they're on the scene of all this. I can tell you a transportation corridor has been set up to go from the north end of the bridge around down back under across perhaps the Fremont Bridge to make their way to Harborview Medical Center, the trauma center. So again, this is all happening within the last 20 minutes or so. A Ride the Duck bus involved in a charter bus accident. We'll get more details as we can. For now, I'm Jim Forman at the Breaking News Desk. I'll be back with you in a moment.
I know that we received the call at our dispatch center at 13 minutes after 11. And then we had all the firefighters arrive very quickly on scene. Like I mentioned, this is a multi-casualty incident, and I believe it was dispatched as such, though we were able to get a lot of resources here very, very quickly. My understanding, and I might have to check, but I think we had a battalion chief actually that was first on scene, which works out really well, sort of set up the command system.
And you said you guys have evaluated 50 people. Does that include
approximately
everybody?
50 people,
Okay,
and that does include everybody. And that number is approximate because, like I said, sometimes it's hard to see or understand who actually was on the bus, who was in a standby wanting to help. So that's about the number that we look. But the numbers that I'm mentioning, where there's 2 fatal injuries, we have 9 in critical, we have 12 with minor injuries but still needing transportation, and then the rest, about 30, is fine, where they don't need
And
transport.
are you currently evaluating people right now behind
Yes,
us?
when I came walking up here, obviously the focus was on the critically injured, and a lot of the people that didn't have any complaints or injuries, they were still there on scene, and we're working at trying to get transportation for them where they need to go. And as well, I'm sure that some people will be speaking with them to get more information.
Is this a dangerous bridge?
Is this a dangerous?
A lot of people will say that because it's narrow, and when I drive on it, I notice that there's a lot of people go fast on this bridge. How would you describe this bridge?
I don't know if I am an expert in transportation. That would be a great question for the Department of Transportation.
Do you know what happened exactly?
You know what, I don't. And, as firefighters, our focus really is on the patients and trying to help the patients. So once the scene starts to unwind and we take care of everybody that was involved in the accident, I think a lot of those questions, everybody wants to know the answers. And so we have Seattle Police Department, DOT, everybody's going to be working really hard to figure out exactly what happened. Anything else?
When do you think we can get another?
Okay, so that was an official with the Seattle Fire Department. You just heard her. She said that you have 2 injured here. I apologize. And 2 dead. I apologize. 2 dead and 9 with serious critical injuries being treated right now. There's still people who they are working with right now, people that don't have as bad of injuries. But I'm going to toss it back to you for now, and I apologize. I'm not able to get sound, so I'm not going to be able to hear any questions.
All right, well, this has been just a terrible day at the Aurora Bridge. 2 people dead. We just heard the briefing from the Seattle Department, Seattle Fire Department. It looks like we have Susan Gregg from Harborview Medical Center about ready to give us a briefing. Let me punch her up there. She's with our Dan Casuto, and we'll listen in.
How unusual is this to have this volume of patients coming in at one time for this hospital?
Well, we've handled situations from Ozo to Marysville shooting to SPD shooting to the Jewish Federation. So again, you know, when you're a trauma hospital and you serve 4 states for the region as the only level 1, this is your business. This is what you do every day, and you get very good at it because you have a lot of experience.
Now, I imagine that a lot of the victims in this case were tourists, so they were probably visiting from out of town. Their families might not know yet. Can you walk me through it all, what happens in that case?
Well, the first thing we do is we're taking care of the patients, and then the second phase is we have dedicated social workers. So they will, on their time and when it's appropriate, they will find families if they're not already here, if they already heard about it. So we have a real robust system in place with a great social work team to go do that legwork if it's not easily found or they're not already here.
We're going to let her get back to her job so she can get more information and bring you the very latest outside here at Harborview Medical Center. Back to you guys.
Every now and then, sorry, Sky King is breaking up, but there you can see from Sky King just the force of this crash. The bus was carrying 45 people, staff and students from Seattle, North Seattle College. 9 have been critically hurt, and 12 have been less severely hurt. Apologize, the signal keeps dropping out. Michael Konopasek is on the
just
scene.
how big of a scene we're dealing with now that police have pushed us back. You can see just how many emergency crews are on scene. We're talking about dozens and dozens. Earlier we were closer to show you the impact of the 2 buses here. So they're moving some out here. There's still ambulances on either side that keep going back and forth. Every once in a while we'll see an ambulance move out. Of course, these are going to be the people that are dealing with the minor injuries, because those who have critical injuries have already been transported to Harborview Medical Center. Police are telling us to move back just a little bit more because, so let's go ahead and move this camera here so this fire truck can get by. But as you can see, still very active situation. Traffic's going to be jammed up here throughout the entire area for quite some time. Jake? My back.
Okay, that was Michael Konopasek speaking with our Jake Wittenberg over on the TV side. Apparently there may have been some international students on board the bus. We're working to follow this all. We have our continuing coverage on King 5 News right now over on the TV side. We'll continue our stream here as well. There's that split screen of the shot of the Aurora Bridge, and on the right, the ground shot from the Aurora Bridge. When we get a little more information, we'll get back to you. Have a little housekeeping to do for the television side, and I'll be back with you in just a moment. There's a ground shot from the south side of the bridge. So we have teams on both sides of the bridge. And there's the shot from the south side of the bridge, where they've cleared the way for the ambulances to pass by. Teresa Yoon is about to prepare her report. Let's listen into what she has to say. Teresa, what can you tell us from your perspective there on the bridge on the north side?
Absolutely. I want to let you know that traffic is heavily impacted on South Lake Union. Just us trying to get here to the north end, going down Dexter, backed up. Also Nickerson, completely backed up as well. Here on the north end, what we were seeing was another charter bus came to pick up about 50 students. A long line of them were coming, being taken away, so they were not hurt. There was a police escort that took them by, but what we've been noticing so much is the ambulances that keep coming through, picking up, taking them away. That, I mean, I can't tell you how many countless ambulances I've seen pass us in the hour that we have been out here. A lot of people too in the Fremont and Wallingford neighborhood coming up just to see what is happening up here. Just a very eerie scene to see Aurora completely shut down like this. As you know, it is a busy thoroughfare from the north end into Seattle here, and all the aid cars that are covering the middle of the road there. Again, we've seen a charter bus pick up students from North Seattle, take them away. We tried to talk to students, but teachers said, please don't come up to them. So again, very rattled at this point. A viewer had showed us a picture. He was there right after the crash, and just the front end of that charter bus was just completely demolished. The Ride the Duck vehicle did not look too badly damaged, but again, we've just been seeing ambulances, and now we're seeing a fire truck come out here as well. We're trying to get more information from the public information officer, but again, here is what it looks like on the north end. As you can imagine, traffic on Aurora just at a standstill, so this is really impacting traffic. Mimi, Jake, back to you.
Therese, of course, throwing it back to the television side. Our Michael Konopasek is also on the bridge. He's on the other side of the bridge, waiting for the mayor's news conference to start in about 5 minutes. Let's listen in Michael's report here, what he's been able to find out. Let's listen in as Michael, what's up?
They do keep moving us back, but this is the area where we will stay for just a while. As you just mentioned, I just learned that Seattle Mayor Ed Murray and Police Chief Kathleen O'Toole will be here right where I'm standing in about 5 minutes or so to talk more about what you are seeing right here. And so as we push in, you can see that this scene has opened up since you last came to me in a live shot.
A witness is describing what he saw, that a duck boat was signaling to enter into the left lane. It seemed to lurch. The witness says he saw smoke, and then the duck clipped the small SUV and then went sideways and T-boned into the oncoming boat. According to this witness, he says it appears the duck boat may have had some kind of malfunction, which led it to basically in the opposite direction T-bone and tear into the side of the bus. There you can see the mayor and the police chief, as well as the fire chief, walking to the south end to where our cameras are set up to provide a briefing. There on the right side is where that briefing will come from. Why did the duck, according to this witness, suddenly swerve and tear into the side of the bus? We'll listen to what they have to say.
All right, guys, here it comes. Here's the mayor of Seattle.
Police chief and the director of SDOT, the Department of Transportation, who may explain why there's no meeting.
I'm going to make a brief statement. I'm going to have the fire chief, who's in charge of the scene at the moment, make a statement. The police chief and the transportation director for Seattle. First of all, we've had a terrible tragedy. There's been a terrible loss of life, and there's been injuries.
We found that 4 had passed away already here on scene, 4 DOA. We've transported 44 patients.
New number, 4 dead. 4 dead, says the fire chief.
To be transported out. We have approximately 30 what we term as walking wounded, with various minor injuries that are still being assessed as we speak right now.
I'll just speak very briefly. The fire department is in charge on scene right now until all life safety issues have been addressed. At such time that the fire department releases the scene, we'll have our traffic collision investigators come to start performing the investigation. But I want to reiterate what the mayor said, that the bridge will be closed for many, many hours. We're right now supporting the fire department.
Okay, let me just reiterate. Let me reiterate something here. Okay, let me reiterate something here. This is a terrible tragedy. We need to give the police and the fire department the opportunity to do what they need to do to help people, to get this bridge clear, to conduct the investigation. That's going to take many hours. It will go through this evening. We asked people to make plans, their transportation plans, around this crisis and work with the police and the fire department. And later today or tonight, we will have more information and we'll speak to you then.
Scott, could we ask you just a quick question about, there had been talk over the years about putting some sort of a center median on this bridge. Can you tell us anything about that?
You know, right now what I want to do is focus on getting the bridge cleaned up and cleared and supporting police and fire. And then once that's done, we'll take a look at the bridge and the history around it.
Thank you very much.
All right, so you just heard it from the police chief, the fire chief. You want to give an updated number? Okay, let's hear it.
The chief did a great job. From my previous number, obviously we went from 2 to 4 fatal. Our critical number went from 9 to 12, and our minor injuries went up to 20. So those, the fatality victims, we have 4. We have 12 that are in critical condition, and that left us with 20 that we transported with just minor injuries.
Okay, so 20 with minor injuries. You just heard it right there, and an updated number. We are now dealing with 4, so the number of fatalities has doubled from 2 to 4. I'm going to step out of the way and show you that we still have. Let's see, she's giving more numbers.
Off to where they need to go, whether it's the hospital or
that's a discrepancy with the numbers.
Nope, it's the same number.
Well, Jim Forman back at the breaking news desk. The question was asked about the history of the bridge. Yes, over the years there have been efforts to try and find a way to put a median down the center. There was one plan that would have basically hung the sidewalks underneath the bridge and then expand the roadway and put a barrier down the middle. The engineers said that wasn't going to work because of weight. Well, now with new, stronger, lightweight materials, perhaps it is something that can finally be revisited because it is something that has happened so many times before. I'm hopping over to the TV side. Be back in a sec. Jim Forman with our continuing coverage here at the breaking news desk. We're continuing to follow this story as it evolves. The new numbers: 4 dead, 12 critical, 20 considered to be the walking wounded. There's, you see, the south end of the bridge. I'm going to call up. There's the Sky King shot. All right, in terms of getting around Seattle, this is going to have a major impact. The bridge will be closed through the evening commute as they sort out what happened. A number of agencies, including, because these were commercial vehicles, the National Transportation Safety Board also likely will be coming to the scene. State investigators, the WSP's Commercial Enforcement Division, as well as the experts at the TCI Squad, the Traffic Collision Investigation Squad of Seattle Police. They're the reconstruction experts. They can, even if there were no witnesses, they can look at where the cars and trucks landed and the duck landed, look at skid marks, try and backtrack the thing, and they can reassemble exactly what happened. And especially with witnesses, they'll be able to get a sense of exactly the chain of events was that led to such a horrible tragedy today. Sky King's at about the time we need to send it to the Renton Airport for fuel. We don't expect any further updates for the time being. For now, we'll sign off our coverage from here. Thank you for riding along. I know we had a bit of a glitch at the beginning of our coverage, but I thank you for all of us at King 5 News for joining us on the web stream. We'll be back. Watch for the red bar or the push alert when we know more and we need to get it to you. But if you're traveling in the area, avoid at all costs the Aurora Bridge. 4 people dead, 12 critically hurt on what otherwise would have been a stunningly beautiful fall day in Seattle. We'll see you for the top of the 4 o'clock news on the web and on your mobile device before, if news warrants. I'm Jim Forman. For all of us at King 5, have a good afternoon.